widely anticipated game that is now a series because FPX coming back in game 2 with a hard focus towards topside EDG with the Orianna, Renekton, and Lilia bans, and FPX with a triple support ban really targeting out the bot side. EDG surprisingly here, despite Udyr being up, actually locks in the Hecarim. Wouldn't be surprised to see FPX instead go for the Hecarim. If not in this first round, then in the second round before the second phase of bans. Tristana is the hover here coming in from LWX, not wanting to give that to EDG because EDG like to play around the bot side while FPX like to play around the top side. So taking away the Tristana, I think, is actually a really good call coming in here. The question is, will we see the Rakan Udyr combo, which seems to be a favorite of either team? Udyr is still up, but the Olaf and the Graves hover are very interesting. Then again, jungle superiority was a very important theme going into the RNG game, and as to be expected, the Udyr pick is indeed what is chosen. EDG here can take the Rakan away from FPX and perhaps run. Now, as much as I would like to see Xayah Rakan, I don't think that's going to be the most likely thing. On the other hand, I don't think Senna and Rakan are really good either. I don't think it's anything that pairs particularly well. I think Rakan Kaisa wouldn't be bad. I would not be surprised at all to see that support pick coming in here, and I wouldn't at all be surprised to see the Rakan pick, because if you give FPX the Rakan Udyr, I feel like that's such a strong combo. As we saw in game 1, the engage range of that composition is insane. I'm actually really surprised that EDG did not go for the Udyr here, but I guess that's besides the point, and we are far beyond that. Now, what support will we get to see here? Okay, the Gragas Flex is also a possibility here. That could be a support Gragas. That could also be a top lane Gragas, as we've seen Flandre 2 games in a row now, as the Ngar pick is actually being hovered here for the side of FPX. Interesting that they would ban triple supports and then go into the second phase without picking a support. I find that a very interesting choice for FPX to make. It looks like the set pick, as good as it was, they don't really think that they want to go with that anymore. Ngar also has been a really solid pick after, I think he's a champion that got 10 buffs in a row across multiple patches to become the eventual monster that he transforms into when his rage buff fills up. As the Nocturne ban coming in here, that's a lane Nocturne centric ban. EDG, will they go for the Corki ban here again? Perhaps even the Victor ban? Of course, because there is very low chance that this is a mid lane Ngar. This is most definitely a top lane Ngar. Most definitely going to be Nuguri on this champion. EDG, they could proceed to ban out supports. There's still the Alistar, there's still the Leona, there's still the Nautilus that could be banned out, but it looks like they are more content in banning out Super Carry Doingbe's mid lane champion pool, actually opting for the Rise pick here. Of course, Doingbe still has the Victor, still has the Akali, and most importantly, I suppose, Orianna is banned out, still has the do you like to ban Corki? I'm not quite sure why. It's the Alistar ban. It's very interesting here coming in from FPX. They are coming out of this with the first pick, and that's most definitely going to go to the support. The question is EDG, do you ban out the last support here? FPX seems set on making this a Gragas support bot lane, which I think I completely understand, because Gragas, despite the fact that he does have the ability to engage, he's more of a defensive, he's more of like a mix of supports. He's not a hard engage, he's not an Alice. He's like a weaker version of Alistar. And now the only real engaged support here is Rakan. I'm surprised they let the Rakan go. I completely forgot. I mentioned it just now, but I completely forgot about it. Rakan is so good here because he contributes to the team fight. He keeps your AD carry. Say, huh? This might be a mid lane Galio, which I would not be particularly surprised about, but I'm pretty sure this is the Rakan pick here. The Galio would make no sense because Galio, it would make no sense at all. It would be completely puzzling. And okay, besides the point, the hover there might just be to tease out EDG, as the Jace pick actually makes it through. FPX opting not to ban the Jace, neither team in fact. And Jace into Ngar is a scaling matchup for the Jace, and as he doesn't contribute so much in team fights, but he does give you that poke when it comes to the mid game if you decide to group. But most importantly, he gives you that side wave dominance that you get, just completing 2 items, the Muramana as well as the Eclipse. As the Silas pick is locked in here, actually locking in the Lulu. Interesting pick here coming in from opting for the Lulu into the Silas. Looking at both team comps right now, EDG will scale nicely into the side lanes with the Silas as well as the Jace, which is for some reason still in the there we go. as well as the Jace. In terms of team fighting, however, FPX do, I think, possess some bit of superiority. FPX, I think it's very easy to say that they're going to try and play around grouping up in the mid game and trying to snowball the game out early. This is standard FPX playstyle. Looks like the fans still have more faith in FPX than they do EDG. EDG have a lot of wiggle room for this. It looks like FPX, based on the compositions, will most likely be looking to play around the bottom side of the map because you want to start snowballing that Tristana way ahead. The Ngar snowballing Ngar isn't as effective if you ask me. The Tristana is where you want to be focusing on. Meanwhile, on the side of EDG, they can actually play around either top, mid, or bot lane. It's just a matter of what they decide to do. The Jace lane might be a little bit hard considering the fact that you don't really have too much CC aside from the Hecarim pushback, which requires you to get behind a Ngar who can hop. Not quite sure what the hop and the Hecarim E interaction is, but I suppose we will see. Hopefully we'll get to see that in this game as we look at the runes going into this game. Nothing at all surprising coming in from either team. Doing the opting for the phase rush, I think, could count as being slightly surprising and fully expect him to go for the Aerie or maybe even the Guardian, but with Crisp running Guardian as well, I suppose there is defeats the purpose and there's no point having too much protection. You want damage after all. Viper on his Kai'Sa. Now this is a pretty exciting thing to watch because I think Viper's Kai'Sa is perhaps one of the top 3 Kai'Sas in the LPL, with the first of course being Gala. I think Gala's Kai'Sa is truly something to watch out for. It's a true menace. Interesting little pixel bush camping going on here by the top side of the map of EDG. As it's a defensive start for everyone else. That's an exceptional skin. As a red buff ward is dropped immediately, Tien will indubitably have seen that and realized that I think he backed for a sweeper, so he's most likely going to just clear that out. Free vision for him. Regardless though, it looks like FPX are going to start with a leashed bottom side, so EDG are going to know where FPX's jungler started regardless of the ward or not. That being said, it's just like an insurance policy, I suppose. And with that, the game is just about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to head on down to the Discord group, I suppose, or is it Twitter? And let us know who you think is going to win. As a little bit of trading going on here between Flandre and Nuguri. Phase Rush is procced. Nuguri did not manage to proc his Grasp of the Undying, but does it right there. As nice auto trades going in. Flandre getting the better end of that trade by far right now with his Shock Blast as well as his auto attacks. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Doing B waddling forward with her Poro, just poking away at Scout as best as he can, I suppose. Starting E level 1. I would like to see the bot lane, honestly, because bot lane is always where the action unwinds first. Bot lane is where Viper jumped in to try and get the attract repel down, unfortunately to no great success. Now let's see. Looks like both teams are even in terms of the push, which means level 2 is just around the corner for both of them. Looks like EDG hit it first and with that are able to get some harass down, but it's completely tanked by the Guardian of Crisp coming in. Both junglers are clearing out. Actually, whoa, fast clear coming in from JJ. Red buff straight into blue buff, perhaps wanting to try and match Tien as best as he can in terms of protecting his top side of the map, because you want to get that Jace ahead. You want that Jace to be ahead. You want him to get to his 2 items as fast as possible so he can be a true threat, so he can be a real side lane threat. And every death, every bit of pressure he loses, of course, is going to take away from that. But it looks like JJ feeling quite safe, leaving his top laner alone, actually looking to contest the bottom side of the map. Interesting start here from the side of FPX. I did not get to see if EDG leashed or not, as Nuguri is spotted out on a ward, just clears it out real quick. Flandre backing off ever so slightly, not wanting to give Tien any of the satisfaction of getting a successful gank off, as Nuguri now able to push out the wave a little bit. Interesting long sword triple health pot start coming in here from Flandre, which I guess is the reason why he traded so effectively in the beginning. He did have that additional damage. It will help him work towards his 2-item power spike, and Tien crossing over mid lane to try and secure out a double scuttle advantage for himself. Unfortunately, that's not to be, as Mako is actually walking up into the jungle right now. Both teams so far have done an exceptional job at getting vision, but Mako is jumped on here by the Grand Entrance, and Mako ignited up. Tien is around the corner as well. Eldabex jumping in. Mako is left high and dry, punished for over aggression, I suppose, when it comes to getting vision, as Mako is going to be gifted over with if that bomb doesn't kill him. It's going to be really awkward. Okay, because if that bomb didn't kill him, his body slam, he could potentially have got wasted a lot of time there. But I suppose good choice coming in here from the side of FPX, just handing it over on a silver platter to the members of LWX to LWX. I'm sorry. Interesting play here. I mean, okay. Aside from that, I think both teams have done a fantastic job at keeping vision in each other's jungle across this entire game. Both teams have done an exceptional job. As Crisp is in the mid lane, he's about to have his recall cancelled here by Scout, but Scout, I think, second guessing himself, despite the fact that Crisp does not have much mana. Does he really want it? Viper versus LWX. Looks like LWX managing to get some harass down with the bomb, but remember, Viper at full HP versus full HP, especially once he hits level 6, actually has a lot of kill pressure onto LWX. Mako does have flash, does have his body slam, could potentially look to outplay LWX here as he body slams in, doesn't even need the flash. Viper with the Prey Seeker throwing it out. LWX taken unfortunately low. Needs to be careful. He's really dancing with fire. Rakan's not even close to in the area as Mako looks to go in with the body slam. Unfortunately, the distance is too great, and LWX of course does have his own flash and will most definitely use it the second he sees a flash or the animation for the body slam coming out. As Tian and JJ face checking each other in the bush, both have phase rush, both able to keep track of each other, but JJ is pummeling him. Tian trying his best to run away, using his best stance to try running, but trying to run towards Doinbi. Doinbi flashing into the ground, giving him the shield, but unfortunately Scott flashes over as well. Everything off with the Kingslayer, and Doinbi is just chasing the ground, able to trade one back with JJ as Scout coming out 1-0 from there, and with mid prio and with a CS lead. Things are not looking great here for the side of FPX in the initial 5 minutes of the game. Dragon has been up for 30 seconds, but it looks like neither team is looking to get that. Tian actually running away from Hecarim is not how you win that, as Nuguri is jumped on there by Flandre. Flandre knocking him away to just complete that trade out. Nuguri trying to walk forward and just get back to the wave. In terms of sustain, it looks like Nuguri is doing pretty well for himself despite not having the biscuits and starting out at a 2 health pot disadvantage. Okay, JJ is around the bottom side of the map right here as Mako attempting to try and freeze this wave as best as he can, trying to tank it out with his passive, not taking a swig out of his W just yet, and does so successfully. Pings are going down onto Chris right now. Is he clearing out a ward? Yes, he is. Mako's in the area, as is JJ. Will Chris just ignore Mako? Yeah, using his grand entrance over the wall maybe to try and... Nope, never mind, not even using that. As a teleport is coming in from Flandre, want to keep up the pressure. This first dragon doesn't seem to be a very appealing to either team, as Tian just securing out the Scuttle Crab on the top side. Teleport also coming in there from Nuguri. Both top laners will have similar teleport timings. I'm surprised at how much JJ kind of destroyed Tian in that situation. Now with the Scuttle Crab that he got in the top side just now, he is indeed ahead in terms of levels, but that's only for a little bit until JJ can equalize with the next camp that respawns. So Tian getting himself a little minor lead, I suppose, is pretty satisfied with the state of the game. EDG now slightly down, about 200 gold down, nothing catastrophic at all as Nuguri jumping in, trying to get some harass down onto Flandre while his mini Nar form is fading and his Mega Nar form takes precedence. Nuguri stepping forward a little bit. Both top laners have flash, and across the map, looks like most of the action is occurring in this bottom side of the map. Like I said, FPX, don't think they're very interested in making a play in the top side. Of a snowball, Nuguri is not really going to do too much as EDG taking the proactive play here, trying to invade towards the bottom side, get some vision out, and keep Scout safe. Perhaps trying to fight for this dragon. Nuguri not being here is a bigger deal than Flandre not being here, as Doinbi is jumped on here by the E coming in. Actually, not so tanky, chunked out to beyond half HP Scout. Very happy with that. Probably means that they can start up Dragon if they chose so. It looks like they prefer to get priorities in their lanes first. GAJ is staying around mid to see if he can finish up Doinbi, and Doinbi as he's returning to lane could be in danger. Nuguri is jumped on there by Flandre, again just knocking him away, using accelerated shock blast to try and finish him off. Flash is available for both laners as Nuguri's rage bar is stacking out quickly. In comes Flandre, in comes GAJ, sorry, as the Onslaught of Shadows knocks him back 10 rounds to corner, but Doinbi is not tanky enough, does not have enough utility to keep himself alive. And this is why I don't really like that Lulu pick. It really doesn't do much. I feel like 2v2, you're not as strong still, and you are very easily jumped onto by JJ with the Onslaught of Shadows, with the movement speed he gets from his Ghost as well as his E, while Scout has a dash, has the chains, has the ultimate even to just steal from... Well, okay, I mean, there's not really that many ults to steal. That will help him close the distance, but I think the dash is more than enough. As Rift Herald is started up here by EDG, Tian perhaps trying to jump in and steal it, but it could cost him his life. In fact, the very attempt, the very idea, the very thought could very much cost him his life as he's fighting now with Scout. Scout, unfortunately, is not strong enough to fight him as Doinbi is walking out as well. Crisp is here, but Mako is as well. Looks like with that, EDG getting a easy Rift Herald after that initial chunk out coming in from doing the other backs using his jump forward to try and push the wave out as much as he can. Dragon is still up for both teams. Looks like that is not the priorities. Interesting to see how the Dragon priority has faded across this game. Kind of what you'd expect from the LPL, because Dragons indicate, trying to snowball the game out, I guess, or more like trying to delay. Generally, dragons are meant to delay. So if you're a scaling team, you get 2 dragons, you're very comfortable. You give them another 3, maybe another 2 or 3, and then you just fight them for the 4th, or the 3rd, or the 4th. In the top side here, Nuguri actually ahead in CS, able to push Flandry out of lane and get himself 2 nice tower platings. Needs to start bouncing and running as fast as he can, as JJ are nearly rounding the corner, nearly being in a position to just pounce on the cute little onesie wearing dinosaur. Hold on. Excuse me, and even though I said it previously, the vision is not so spectacular right now. Both supports. Oh wait, no, actually, Mako has yet to complete his support item, while Crisp has. Crisp is level 6 to Mako's level 5, while LWX is 1 level down as well. Crisp could potentially look to go in here, especially considering the fact that Mako has just left lane to get some vision. Scout also doing the same, and vision in the bot side river goes heavily in favor of EDG, I believe, as Scout just spotting out Tien and trying to finish up this Scuttle Crab. Looks like JJ, I don't know if it was a fluke. I don't know if Udyr would have won that if you just straight out fought him 1v1, but he's very, very much capable of just keeping up with Tien and just kind of slaughtering him with the Q damage. Looks like Dragon looks to be the next point of contestation as FPX start it up. Teleport not available for either top laners, as in comes Crisp, and LWX jumping into his death. Crisp using the quickness as an escape route for the movement speed to just get out of there. Nice instant teleport coming in from Scout. Interestingly enough, Doingby opting for the ignite rather than teleport. So it looks like Scout able to make plays across the map, while Doingby really just wants to stay around mid lane and just play around Tien. But so far, this has not at all been what's happening, as Doingby has been killed twice so far, with Tien kind of being the reason he died both times. As so far, EDG doing a better job playing towards the bottom side than FPX, playing towards the mid actually, just playing through lanes a lot better. And though JJ is significantly behind, Flandre being jumped on here by Crisp and Tien. Looks like he's going to be just fine, however, as Scout was running up as fast as he could. LWX just loses the tower in the bot side, picks himself up an additional 25 gold of consolation money, as Flandre is feeling the pressure in this top side. Looks like FPX have no choice but to play towards Nuguri. While it is not ideal, it is also not terrible. As long as they get 1 lane ahead, it's better than not getting any ahead whatsoever, as in the mid lane, Doingby is most definitely behind, keeping up well in levels, but he has no pressure at all compared to Scout. Scout able to just push with impunity, able to just roam, pick up kills, and get himself to that scary late game point. Now, Mako has made his way up to the top side as well. Rift Herald is not spawning for a little bit. I guess he's just here to relieve some pressure, and the fact that Viper is up here as well, wanting to play around that strong lane. EDG rotate up their bot lane in order to try and secure as much tower plating and tower damage as possible up here. Trying to snowball the lane out is EDG. That's really, really good for them. FPX in a pretty grim position, because even though the gold is even, FPX's team composition definitely does not scale. Double supports, no. No mid lane damage, as LWX is actually hammering away at this tower really well. Actually, EDG might have made a slight bit of a mistake here, as Flandre is trying to farm up Krugs, realizing that the map is empty, has no vision on Tien or Crisp at this moment in time, realizes that he could potentially be in a lot of danger as Nuguri is rotated into the mid lane. Interesting here, FPX playing around 2 lanes. Some might say that's a smarter choice, because you don't want to play around. If the enemy wants to play around their strong lanes, one of the ways you can avoid that, I suppose, is to avoid their strong lane completely, which looks to be exactly what they are doing. As Mako is rotated to the mid lane, JJ just shadowing Viper up towards the top side here, as FPX have invaded the entire bottom side jungle of EDG, while EDG have done the same towards their top side. Red buffs, it seems, are the chosen medium of trade in this, is the currency of this game. As Viper trying to get the last bit of plating, there's still a minute to go, as Crisp, Nuguri, and LWX are rotating up. Doingby stepping a little bit too far forward, is instantly jumped onto by Scout. Scout stealing the Wild Growth, actually just knocking up Doingby. In comes JJ going straight in for Doingby. Doingby filled up by the Onslaught of Shadows, using his ultimate to disengage, as Tien just kiting away from Scout. And despite not losing anything, FPX definitely didn't gain anything there either. FPX, in fact, they're in a really uncomfortable position as mid lane 2v2 that they drafted themselves into is most heavily going in favor of EDG right now, as LWX rotated in now to the mid lane to try and secure as much as he can. And honestly, I feel that EDG made a mistake with that rotation, because they lost out their bot tower, which had 5 plates, and then they only managed to equalize top plating to 2 each, as plating is falling in 4 seconds and Rift Herald is spawning in the map in less than a minute. So honestly, yeah, EDG, the gold is exactly even right now, because FPX just sticking to lanes and EDG trying a fancy rotation you know, before there was a dragon across the map to distract FPX pretty much, and they kind of lose their advantage. Interesting here. EDG now trying to enter the top side of FPX's jungle again to try and get some vision down, try and counter jungle as much as possible. But LWX is way ahead of them, counter jungling out his own jungler is an AD carry's specialty, not even in pro play, as it looks like Rift Herald is spawning in about 30 seconds time and Dragon is spawning in less than a minute. Let's take a quick break here to see what goes on. In terms of vision setup, both teams kind of doing meh, but EDG with the priority in the mid lane is able to enter the river first. Crisp is walking into Mako here using his grand entrance to try and get him out. Mako using the body slam over the wall. 10 runs in as well, stuns out JJ. Front to back coming in as the quickness comes in, misses everybody as the explosive class starts in, nearly knocking Crisp into his own team. Mako, that was nearly catastrophic as the shock blast comes in, chunking out Nuguri as well as Crisp. Looks like a disengage is the call here for FPX without their key ultimates. I don't think they kind of want to take a fight. Chris jumping in, not really getting any much done at all, forcing out the flash from Mako, I suppose, and the TP from Flandre coming in as well. Nuguri does have TP, which is why he's running towards the bottom side to try and get a bit of advantage, but I think they realize without their key ultimates, there's no fight to be had here for the members of FPX. And pings are going down across the map, FPX wanting to try and stack up their second dragon. EDG just cutting through mid lane, farming out the wave while they can, are still as strong. They have the quickness on to scout. FPX starting out with 2 people as JJ runs forward. Looks like they're going to give this up as well. EDG completely dictating the pace and the map currently. FPX, thanks for the leash, I suppose, guys. As I don't know. This feels like a huge drafting problem, because FPX, they're supposed to be stronger grouped up as a ball, but somehow EDG just managed to acquire the advantages across the map, and despite kind of dropping the ball slightly in the mid game, not mid game, just now with the lane swaps, they kind of are doing just as well as they need to be doing, which is surprising and kind of shocking to tell you the truth. As a scout is actually Tien doing a great job keeping up in terms of level. He's only 1 level down from the solo laners, which is exceptional. JJ in the meantime is 1 level down from Tien. Looking at the items now, nothing particularly surprising as Flandre has completed his Eclipse just about now, which means that he is going to very, very comfortably be able to fix fight Nuguri as soon as he completes his Muramana. So in about 7 minutes, he is going to feel a lot better about himself, and he's honestly doing really good for himself right now. Nuguri hasn't really been contributing, hasn't really been doing too much in these fights. So FPX, they're playing around the quickness, they're playing around being able to sustain people in a long drawn out fight and playing around Nuguri's rage bar. Meanwhile, EDG kind of have the disengage, re-engage that they need in order to just kind of play around FPX. So FPX need to have exceptional execution, and EDG just need to be able to delay. Unlike Wei, I suppose, JJ preferring to just drop the Rift Herald a bit further away rather than right on top of the tower, as the last outer tower. Oh no, never mind. Top lane outer tower is still up. I cannot believe it. Okay. So there's still 1 outer tower to go for the side of FPX. Meanwhile, for the side of EDG, they have managed to acquire themselves a slight lead, 700 gold about. And Scout just pushing in another wave up there, moving up to match him. But this is quite uncomfortable position for FPX to be in, because you don't really want Doing B to split up from the team. You kind of want him to be with the team. You want him to be sustaining out everybody, but right now all he can do is match out Scout, and Scout, this is exactly what he wants. He just wants to split you up, use his teleport advantage, which he doesn't currently have, unfortunately, in order to get himself ahead, in order to get his team ahead, in order to create personnel mismatches and disadvantages. And EDG, in spite of all that, actually give up top tower for free as well. And this has been a bit of a theme so far for EDG this game. They've kind of acquired themselves an advantage across the map, and then on the other side, later on, without any cause kind of just lose out on the advantage that they gained. Look, as we look at the gold, it exactly reflects what I just said. They are even again, FPX. They in terms of gold they're keeping up, but in terms of like how the map is going, I can't say that they're winning, they are getting things, but they're getting things not through effort so much as EDG just not being where they need to be, where they're supposed to be. So interesting thoughts here as EDG are running in with Viper, Mako, and JJ up towards the top side. Tien with Crisp around all over his shoulder is just here to clear as much of the vision as possible as Mako defending out the last remnant of vision that he has left. He does have 2 wards still in his inventory as he's face checking into Tien, who has Doing B behind him. Slight little fight coming in here as Chris jumping in with the quickness as well as the grand entrance. JJ able to run out with the ghost as well as his E. So much speed. You can't stop him. As the shock blast coming in, chunking out LWX as Doing B with his Moonstone Renewal is able to heal him out. Scout turning corner. He is very, very scary. Chris does not have his ultimate. Is nearly ever frosted up as Tien pushed into his team. Looks like EDG are fully in advantage of this fight. Scout does have the wild growth instead of the quickness currently, and Scout is just so huge. The second Scout joined the team, the second he turned the corner, EDG just injected with so much confidence running in. Now it looks like they want to start up Baron as soon as it spawns. This is the squishiest moment in time it will be. Scout, if he jumps onto LW's head, this will secure them the Baron buff as he actually hits everything, and Viper jumps in as well. It's over. Oh my goodness, Nuguri needs to jump out as well, as does Crisp. LWX playing so aggressively, still getting hit by everything there as Nuguri. First ultimate of the game actually goes on to Scout, but Scout is just too tanky. Fandry running forward with the phase rush as Doing B blocks out the accelerated shock blast. Chris jumping in as well, but Doing B, does he have the damage for it as the building comes in? Not necessary as Chris finishes him off. While growth up is Chris has to jump out. Nuguri with the strike breaker to try and run away. JJ trying to transfer with his E as well. Does have smite, but does not have his onslaught of shadows to go in further. And somehow, some way, Doing B and Crisp managing to of course with the assistance of Nuguri as well. Somehow Nuguri, Crisp, and Doing B managing to delay a Baron attempt after their AD carry gets taken out. I'm not quite sure how that happened. I really am not. As Dragon is started up here by FPX being the first one on the map, they're going to be able to secure this away freely. I like what EDG is doing here though. They are just forget Baron. They are dropping Dragon. Forget Dragon. They're dropping it completely in favor of securing Baron vision again. They want to try this Baron dance once more. They just want to group up and just use the fact that they're ahead to get the top tower, to get vision in the top side of the jungle as LWX just getting hit by everything here except for the Everfrost, I suppose. Nice chain coming in and Viper jumping past him to ensure that he can get damage on even after he jumps away. Nuguri is strike breaking forward very aggressively, realize he's in a very unfortunate situation. Nice little W there to buffer out the stun coming in from Scout, and somehow in this position, FPX managed to get Flandre, stop a Baron in a 3v3 situation pretty much. Exceptional. SJJ coming in trying to get onto Doing B as Viper jumping in as well. Doing B is annihilated. FPX's jungler is now caught out as well. Mako, nice explosive class pinning him against the wall, but Tien forced to flash over the wall. Doing B had flash, but he was just unable to use it as the knock in the prancing pony just knocks him against the wall. Viper jumps in with his ultimate and Doing B explodes. Obliges pretty much. Now mid tower is going in favor of FPX, but EDG have Baron. It is a 5v4 situation, but Scout is split off from a team. Does have teleport, but is currently in the mid lane. Ultimates are available as FPX. Oh, AD carries jumped onto. Is very dangerous right now as Scout is so strong, pushing away 4 members by himself. Baron buff is secured off of the efforts of Scout. Heroic Herculean efforts, I must say. Did have the quickness, was a true threat. Oh my goodness, Scout is really pulling his weight this game. The chains attached to his wrist are just what he's using to yank himself forward ever so slightly as the teleport was coming in there from Flandre. Viper just jumping in before the onslaught of Shadow Sphere could even complete. Whoo! Doing be annihilated. Absolutely gonzos. Viper doing tons of damage, really. Actually opting for the Lord Dominic's third item despite there not really being too many tanks, I suppose. Or too many tanky tanks. Well, I suppose he wants to make them even less tanky right now. as FPX severe draft problems coming into game 3. Nuguri jumping for it as best as he can, very confidently despite him not really being Mega Ngar just yet, not being really remotely close to it. No neutral objectives on the map, but FPX have managed to push EDG away from the waves, away from the lanes, not allowing their Baron buff to be used to full effect. But EDG, I think, are going to start fighting it right now. The poke coming in there, LWX is chunked out, Everfrost comes in, goes in way wide. Ken is just running back and forth with his insane movement speed, but oh, Shock Blast coming in, LWX chunked so low as JJ jump in, Mako is jumping in as well. Ken is getting chunked out as the Onslaught of Shadows comes in. Elderback's forced to heal out as in comes Chris. Chris going in big. Nuguri going big as well, but Chris is annihilated as JJ is thrown into the team. Scout is in as well as a huge Everfrost comes in. Scout doing so much damage in that, and simply the members of FPX grouping up and getting annihilated. I'm not quite sure which ultimate Scout used in that fight, but we're gonna need a replay for that. I'm not quite sure what happened. I just saw the Everfrost and I saw all the members of FPX just lose all of their HP. I'm pretty sure that this game is well and truly over. It is merely a formality now at this point for EDG to just close it out. They are so far ahead. They have skipped the mid game. Every member of their team has a comfortable number of kills and one member of their team at least has yet to die. I don't know if that's Scout, honestly, at this point in time, but Scout just going in and showing up. Yeah, it's Scout, alright. In fact, even Viper is yet to die as well. Okay, looks a catastrophe. A catastrophe for sure unfolds on the side of FPX. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay, here. This is Scout's point of view. This is, of course, a very important point of view to witness. As look at this, the damage coming in here from this JJ. Sorry, Flandre wins them kind of the fight here as he steals. He stole the Mega Ngar, wasn't even it. Look at that. Oh, look at that. The To the Skies after the Everfrost is what destroyed FPX in that choke point as Crisp is about to get a taste of the destruction as well. Viper incinerating him before he can complete his grand entrance. His grand entrance was actually an entrance straight into the grey screen of the spawn platform, I suppose, as Scout is level 15 now, has 10 stacks of Magi's. That's how confident he feels with his Zhonya's that he's going to stay alive. Meanwhile, 3 members of his team in the bot side pushing out. Dragon is spawning in 40 seconds, and meanwhile in the mid lane, JJ is applying pressure as well. Scout does have teleport. Very unusual to see Doingby go for Ignite. I mean, if he went for Exhaust, I guess I would understand that more, as the Shock Blast coming in, ringing through, smacking Doingby in the face. As Flandre is coming up huge this game. I think this Jace needs to be banned in game 4, and if there is a game 5, in game 5, because that his Jace is doing exceptional. He's squishy. He's tenderizing FPX before the fight even starts. All of these are heat-seeking as teleports coming in here. Nuguri jumps in, is actually doesn't get the ultimate off, unfortunately. Nuguri does manage to get off, but Tien is just left high and dry. Scout is in the back. Is he finally going to go down as he triggers the quickness? Is still not killed with the Kingslayer. Actually managing to lifesteal up to him, trying to kite away as much as he can. But you really can't go far as this game comes to unceremonious. And while there was a sign of life for FPX in game 2, EDG just absolutely decimating, absolutely just pulling FPX off of their roots, sending them back into the death, sending the Phoenix back into to respawn time, I guess. Wow, EDG just destroyed FPX in that game. There's no putting it nicely, I suppose. Of course, EDG are playing exceptionally well. FPX have some flaws. They are just not able to play around. Their composition just wasn't good. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great, and EDG just running away with that game, I suppose. I don't know. Alright, well, I guess we'll just wait around to game 4 to see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as I still have faith that FPX will come back in game 4 and probably game 5. Despite the fact that, of course, we all know, I mean, anyway, this besides the point. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.